Hey guys, Hal here, coming at you with another movie review. Do you like my new background? Hopefully it's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing for you all, but I'm well happy with it anyway. Just a few posters and bang them up on the wall and door and happy days. So today we're going to be doing one of my all-time favourites, which is the original 1984 Karate Kid. So Karate Kid was released August 1984 and directed by John G. Avildsen. It's the first instalment in the Karate Kid franchise. The story follows Daniel LaRusso, played by Ralph Macchio, who moves with his mother from New Jersey to the Reseda neighborhood of LA. There, LaRusso encounters harassment from a gang of karate students from the Cobrakai dojo. Daniel befriends a handyman and war veteran named Mr. Miyagi, played by Pat Morita, who teaches him karate to defend himself and to compete in a karate tournament against his bullies. So to be perfectly honest with you guys, this is not going to be a critical movie review. This is just going to be me expressing my thoughts and opinions, and pretty much just showing you the love I have for this film. I mean, you can see in the background, I've got it on the door here, and I'm literally wearing a tea towel around my head. So the dedication is real. I wanted to get into this film because of the release of Cobra Kai coming in the next couple of months. I believe that's going to be the finale of that, and I've been watching all the way through, so very excited about it. And as I'm pretty new to this whole YouTube thing, I wasn't going to do this Karate Kid film just yet. I was going to wait until I was a little bit more experienced, but I thought now's a good time, and why not? Practice makes perfect, right? So yeah, and of course you've got the Karate Kid Legends film coming out as well later in the year. So I actually don't remember the very first time I watched this film. My earliest memories are of me and my brother actually acting out the fight scenes. He would stand at one end of the carpet, I'd stand at the other. We'd both face each other and bow, and off we would go, and we'd just act out pretty much the majority of the film, well, all the fight scenes anyway. I think the first time I must have watched it was when it was on TV in about 1990, 91. I watched a lot of films when I was about 6 or 7. And out of all the films that I've loved growing up, Karate Kid was one that I don't really ever remember owning on VHS, which all the others I really have vivid memories of having them in my collection. So Karate Kid must have just been something that I saw on TV. I must watch this film and the rest of the trilogy at least once a year. Once I start that first one, there's no way I can just end it there. I have to continue all the way through. I think I mentioned it in my previous video, my top 10 movies of all time. Same with the Back to the Future trilogy. It's a trilogy. It's something I have to watch. When I watch the first one, I then continue and I have to watch the whole story. I really do enjoy the whole trilogy. I know that there's some people that think it dropped off a little bit by the third one, but for me, it's just a complete package. And I look forward to actually watching it all again later this year. So starting with the positives, because that's all there's going to be for this film, let's go to the performances. So you've got Daniel LaRusso, who's played by Ralph Macchio, and he plays it brilliantly. I'd never seen him in anything, prior to this. Obviously, I was a young age when I first watched it, but he just captures that angsty attitude teenager. But so he's got all the mouth, but doesn't really have any of the skills to back it up, because he gets beat down in this film. And there's one part actually where he's hiding this black eye with his sunglasses. And his mum asks him to take the glasses off because she can tell something's up. When he finally reveals this black eye, what an absolute shiner it is. I mean, it looks horrendous. Whoever did the makeup job for it did it absolutely spot on, because it looks like it's blooming boom, 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 boom. It looks like it's got its own blooming heartbeat. So yeah, it's a real he got a proper wallop. It's certainly a good job that he meets Mr. Miyagi, who's played by Pat Morita, the handyman war veteran that looks after the complex that he's living in. He sees Daniel LaRusso throwing his bike into this skip because he's just been chucked down a hill by the Cobra Kai bullies. So he fixes his bike up. He offers him into his apartment, where he gives him a bonsai tree, settles him down, and then eventually starts to teach him karate. And he goes about it the long way. He has him waxing his car, he has him painting his fence, he has him sanding his decking out in his garden, and Daniel just feels like he's being totally ripped off by this old man, until you get to a point where he actually shows him what it is that he's learned throughout doing all these like horrible tasks day in, day out. And then there's a part then when he stands in front of him and he goes, sweep the floor, and he's like, poof, and then he goes, paint the fence, poof, and he does all these different things, and it's just absolutely amazing. That was probably the first time I realised, wow, like he actually knows what he's doing. He's showing him some really good stuff, because they put it together, and he's like, whoo, 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 whoo. And it's just wicked. I mean, again, me and my brother just acted this out so much when we were kids. We just thought it was wicked. So recently, in the past like 6-7 years, we've actually been quite spoiled with having William Zabka's performances on Netflix. But this is the film where we're first introduced to him. And he's, again, this young, cool karate black belt student who is bullying Daniel LaRusso. And there is actually a theory that Daniel LaRusso was bullying Johnny Lawrence. There is actually a YouTube video out there that goes into this in more detail, and they kind of touched on it in Cobra Kai, but I was never having any of that. I feel like, it was always Daniel LaRusso that was the one being bullied, and if I ever changed my opinion on that, I think it would then change the way I looked at that film, as a whole. Elizabeth Shue also plays a good role in this. She's the love interest of Daniel LaRusso and the ex-girlfriend of Johnny Lawrence. And I know her more so really from like Back to the Future Part 2. She plays Jennifer, but she's very good in Karate Kid as well. She does what she needs to do. And actually, it was a bit of a shame that we never got to see her then in Karate Kid Part 2. But that's for another review. And then we've got Mr. Miyagi, who's played by Pat Morita. He is the heart of the film. Him and Daniel LaRusso, Ralph Macchio's character, their chemistry is just amazing. It really is like the main plot to the film. Although this is named The Karate Kid, it really is a drama, and the love between those two characters that is built throughout not only this film but the whole trilogy is just unreal. I absolutely love him, and it was weird. It wasn't until years later then that I actually see a YouTube video, and it's an interview with Pat Morita, and he's got the American accent. It's so strange because he just plays the part so well that I just thought that's exactly what he was like. And obviously we lost him quite a few years back, so rest in peace to Pat Morita, because he is an absolute legend. We love him. So let's get to the music of the film. You've got an amazing score that's done by Bill Conti. It elevates every character and every scene throughout this. There's a part where Daniel LaRusso is practicing his crane kick on the beach, and you've got these strings in the background, and it just captures the moment beautifully. There's also another part towards the end of the film where Daniel LaRusso is he's in the finals of the tournament, and he's hit the deck, he's taken out back onto a stretcher, and Mr. Miyagi's out there consoling him. And then it goes quiet, there's no music played, it's just all dialogue. And then out of nowhere, Mr. Miyagi tells him to sit back, and he slams his hands together, and the music kicks in just as he does it. And it really is a goosebump moment for me, and I love it. And that's the part there when, going forward, it's one of my favourite parts of the whole film. You've got the crowd in the background, and this music slowly building up. And you can hear then the people tell the referee of the fight that Daniel LaRusso is going to, actually compete. And they're like, Daniel LaRusso's going to fight? And there's this music elevating the whole thing. I'd certainly recommend you keeping an ear out on that part when you watch it, because if you take that music away, I really don't think that the ending of this film is as good as what we all, remember it to be. So yeah, if you check it out, please just listen for that music because it's just fantastic. I might actually put a little clip on so you can see it, but it's just so good. And we've also got the Cobra Kai gang, which is absolutely iconic. I was actually wearing Cobra Kai t-shirts back in the early noughties, so way before Cobra Kai the series came out. I was that old school fan, and it was actually a few years back I actually dressed up in their whole skeleton outfits and did all the makeup, and I'll put a picture of that up as well so you can see. So I've just always been a fan of that gang, even though they were the bad guys. I just loved their attitude. They all had their own little characters, and some of the things they would say, you know, put him in a body bag, ah! You know, all the laughs and everything like that. They're just real iconic lines and real add to that, you know, that end scene. Without them being there, I really don't think it feels like a gang mentality. So yeah, absolutely love the Cobra Kai boys, and I think it was actually the sad passing of one of them a couple of years ago. So R.I.P. mate. And that brings us to the final bout of the tournament, where it's Daniel LaRusso versus Johnny Lawrence. It's all set up, that big final point, and we see him do his infamous crane kick where we've seen him practice earlier in the film on the beach. And it's brilliant because you've got the Bill Conti music really building it up. He's been doing his classic stance throughout the whole tournament. And then just as that final point and the final bout is about to start, Daniel LaRusso puts his arms out, he crosses them, he puts them up, and boom, kicks Johnny Lawrence straight in the face, puts him down, and it's point, winner! And it all just goes mad. And as I say, you've got the Bill Conti music really adding to the scene. You've got Mr. Miyagi running on, and it's just brilliant. And then it actually ends like not even a minute after it, I don't think, because they're all celebrating, and there's just a cool freeze frame of all three of them. You've got the Elizabeth Shue character, you've got Pat Morita, and you've got Ralph Macchio all cuddling, and then the credits begin. So that's the film, and it's just amazing, to the point that actually I could just pop it on right now, even though I only watched it like a couple of hours ago. I absolutely love this film to bits. I'm sure in the years to come, if I get better at doing this, I'm probably going to revisit you know, this film and do another review on it. But it's been a blast talking about it with you all. It's, you know, I just absolutely loved discussing it. So if you enjoyed this video and you like this channel, then please subscribe, put your comments in the comment section below, hit that notification bell, because when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious